Hello, I'm Drake. Welcome to Working Dragon Mystic, where we share real, occult, and magical knowledge so you can manifest real and tangible results and changes in your life, no matter what path you follow. This week we'll be talking about the magical uses and properties of salt and why it is such an important part of an urban practitioner or any practitioner's practice. Stay tuned. Hello, welcome to our first urban magic and kitchen magic videos. In this series we're going to be sharing a lot of information about different herbs, different seasonings, different foods, different techniques that you can use around the house. And we're also going to talk about magic in an urban environment. Everybody wants to talk about magic in nature, but no one wants to cover what do you do if you live in a city? What if you can't get out in nature? Well, in this series we're going to start talking about that. And I'll probably split it up into two playlists so it's easy to find what you're looking for. For today's topic, we're talking salt. Yes, salt. I know a lot of practitioners that roll their eyes at the concept of salt because everyone talks about salt and it seems so plain, it seems so basic, it seems so pointless. Well, for a seasoning that so many consider pointless, let's look at a few things that salt can be used for. Protection, cleansing, warding, luck, hex breaking, uncrossing, reversal magic. And yes, I actually have a list here because there is a lot of them. I can't remember them all. It can be used in healing. And these are just some of the common uses for salt in magic. So this is a large section of things that you can use salt for in your magic, and it's a very easy item to get. It really is. So it's real easy to see how you can get a lot of use out of this humble powerhouse of a seasoning in your magic and in your craft. Now, when we're talking salt, what are we talking about? Do you have to get some kind of fancy, expensive salt? No. Any salt will work. If you go to your grocery store and you see salt, grab it. That will work. Honestly, this right here is what I use. And no, I'm not getting sponsored to plug them or anything. This is honestly just what I keep in the house. Almost any time you're at my house, you go to my kitchen, you're going to see this or some variant of it if they're sold out. I buy sea salt only because I prefer the flavor. It has nothing to do with the magical properties of it, though some will say that it does actually give it a bit more healing and cleansing aspect because of its associations to water. But any salt will work. I know a lot of people like to use kosher salt or pickling salt because it dissolves better in water. If you want to take that route, go right ahead. Any salt will work. In fact, we even picked this up one time at Costco, I think it was, or Sam's Club, because we had heard a lot about the flavor of pink Himalayan salt. Now, I've used this in my magic quite a bit, and I actually do cook with it some. I honestly don't prefer it, but this giant thing cost me about 15 bucks. So if you want just something that's not at a normal grocery store or like pink Himalayan salt, go ahead and grab something like this. This works just fine. I've used it in magic. Same thing. Any of it'll work. So you can even buy salt in bulk just like this, no problem. Now, let's talk how you're going to use it. Well, there's a few ways. Obviously, I think the most common way everyone can think of using salt, and I think we have TV to thank for this, is using it as a ward or a barrier. You sprinkle a little along the doorways and your windows to keep negative energy and entities out. You can even build a circle out of it. Everyone knows the show I'm talking about. We all know it. And it does work for this. It's not exactly the ward I'd like to rely on because it can get knocked away real easy. Anytime it rains, it's going to distribute or it's going to dissolve. Now, I will say this. I try to put it on the inside of the window frames and the door frame just so it'll last a little longer. But you can sprinkle it on the inside if you want. Though be careful because it can get down in the carpet and tear it up. And outside and As long as you follow the perimeter of your house, you should be okay. Some salt can actually kill grass, so be aware that where you sprinkle it, you might kill the grass if you want to go that route. Now, probably my favorite way to use salt is to just mix it with a little water so I can have a cleansing, banishing mist. I can easily spray this mist on me or an object or another person, help cleanse the energy, help ground them out. It's great for banishing anytime I'm doing an overall cleansing of my house. So I don't really like to burn smoke in my house. I don't like it. So I prefer to use energy or some form of a misting style spray to cleanse my house and my office. And I don't like to use a lot of the essential oils because I find they leave an oily residue on a lot of my furniture. And I don't like that. So this is a great alternative. And as you'll find out as we go through this series, you can also add some dry herbs to it to help out, and they won't leave behind that oily residue I was talking about. Now, another great thing about mixing salt with water, you can use the same liquid now to draw sigils and wards on your doors and windows or their frames. As the water dissolves, the salt will still be sticking there. Now, you will have a fingerprint on a window. That's almost unavoidable, but if you put it on the frame, it'll still protect the whole window. And most likely, unless you just have jet black painted windowsills, no one will be able to see it. So this is a great way to trace sigils and wards around your house, not only energetically, but to give it a physical component as well. And of course, let us not forget cooking. Anytime you apply a magical ingredient to something you're cooking, you can impart the properties of that ingredient to it. So salt, I love to cook with salt. I think I use it in just about everything. My wife tells me I don't use enough of it, to be honest. But some of my favorite things are soups and stews. Think about anytime you're ill, anytime you're sick, you make soup. It helps to heal you. It helps to cleanse the body. It helps to purify. And I honestly believe this is largely due to the magical properties of many of the things that we put into these soups and stews. And one of the backbone ingredients to all these is salt. Chicken soup. If you don't believe me, try and make chicken soup without salt. It will be the blandest, nastiest thing you've tasted. However, you put the salt in there and magically you have an awesome soup. And it's also a soup that is massively healing. And like I said, we will be sharing a lot of recipes and how you can use them on this channel. But for me, the use of salt, hands down, I think the most common place and my favorite place to use it is in soups and stews. Now, I love to make jerky, whether it's deer jerky, beef jerky, bear jerky. I even had a chance one time to make some moose jerky. So obviously anytime I'm making jerky, I use a lot of salt there, and I do use quite a bit of salt in my chilies. And I've learned to do a lot of cooking down in Louisiana, so I use salt in my gumbos and stuff like that. But you can utilize this salt in so many places. In fact, I actually use salt even when I'm doing fasting for magical purposes, which is another topic that we'll talk about. But I will put a little salt into water because oftentimes I'm not hungry. It's just my body wants the salt, and that helps me just get the salt I need during a fast. Anyways, that's a quick rundown of some of the magical properties of salt and a few quick ways that you can start using it today. Whether you live in the country, a city, a one-bedroom apartment, or heck, let's just say you just live in your bedroom and you're sharing the house and all you have in your personal space is your bedroom. This is something you can still do. No one will even know what you're doing. Stay tuned and be on the lookout as we release more videos just like this and many more. Remember to like, subscribe, and hit the notification icon so you will be notified anytime we release a new video. Don't forget to check out some of our other videos on how to manifest real results magically in your life. And I'll see you next time. Take care.